good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, we're about 3 minutes late. We wanted to get that intro for you guys going. Tonight, I am joined by not only Olivia, but also Amy, who's one of our investigators on the team. For those of you that don't know, I'll let her kind of talk a little bit about herself, what she's done before, maybe where she's been, stuff like that. How long you've been doing this?
So I've been a paranormal guest investigator for about 13 years, give or take. I've been with Soul Searchers approximately 2.5 years. I stalked them and then I attached myself to them.
Stalked in a good way.
Yeah, stalked in a good way. I previously was with another local group in the Syracuse area. Prior to that has since disbanded. And other than that, from Canastota. And
so we always talk about, we always actually not only talk about it, but we put it on our Facebook page every year. We do our events at the Locke NY, which we'll be doing again this October. And that's actually where the stalking began. She came to our show one night, liked it, decided she wanted to be part of it, and kind of, I don't know, we stayed in contact for a little while. And then one thing led to another, and here she is.
Yeah.
So it worked out great.
The processes and the way they investigate aligned with what I believe in. It's been history since then.
So one of the cool things about having Amy here tonight, as well as Olivia, but Amy just because she has been doing this for so much longer than Olivia. Sorry, but it's true.
She was a child.
It was. I wanted to kind of have her on tonight, let her listen to some of this stuff. The cool thing is, she didn't go to this investigation. She doesn't know any of the backstory of this investigation that we're going to go over. So for her to listen to these EVPs and stuff like that, she can give an honest opinion and excuse me, and kind of come at it from a different angle than somebody who was there. So it's kind of cool to be able to have you there for that. So we're going to get right into it. I will say this right off the top. Almost all these, there's 13, I would say at least 10 of them are very low. So if you do not have headphones yet, please grab them, throw them in. You're going to want to have headphones on to hear some of these. If you don't have headphones, that's fine. Take my word for it. Go back later on, maybe tonight, tomorrow, whenever. Rewatch the video and listen to them again. Because they're there. They're just awfully low. Some of them, on the other hand, are quite loud and you don't need headphones. So I just wanted to throw that out there to make sure you guys were aware of that. A couple of these fall into our top 10 that we've ever caught. It was at this private home. A little bit about the home without giving up too much details, because it is a private home. We were called in back in 2012. So this is going back 11 years now. It's going to be 11 years in August, I think. So it's been a while. And the mother believed that whatever was here was attached to the son. And a lot of people, I think, and maybe you can attest to this, when they hear attachments, they automatically think negative, they think bad. And it's not necessarily that way.
No.
She felt that it could have been her mother or another relative who recently passed. There was also discussion of some items that she received from an auction of a home that was foreclosed on, or the owner passed away, and they kind of did one of those estate sales. And she thought maybe some of the stuff that she got from there. So to test this theory, we did the investigation, got some good stuff. You're going to hear some of it tonight. We went back a second time, but we requested that the son not be there the second time. He was there the first night. And believe it or not, we caught absolutely nothing the second time. Went back the third time and asked the son to be there. He was there, slept there on the couch, and we caught some more cool stuff. So we might have been able to prove that maybe whatever was there is attached, or for whatever reason does like the son. We couldn't really tell you what it was. We didn't get any definite answers. We got everything from what sounded like a woman to a child, to just some all-around weird bangs and stuff like that. So you're going to hear some of them tonight.
Now, were there any other family members there? Was it just the son?
No,
the second time when the
just
son...
the mother.
Okay, so because my thinking is sometimes spirits, when they get familiar with a family, and they don't necessarily. Sometimes when we go to houses, If the family's not there, sometimes the spirits take a little while to warm up to in the same way a child
No,
might,
the first night, mother hung out outside with us,
Mm-hmm.
in our cool tent that we set up and everything, and the son slept on the couch all night, didn't hear a peep out of him. The second time, the mother hung out with us, no son, and then the third time, both were there again.
So that kind of leaves the son as the common denominator.
It was, we kind of used him as a tool, really, is what we kind of used him for. So we're going to get right into it. And again, if you guys have any questions,
Hi, Sandra.
Please feel free to ask. We'll try to answer them as we go. Some of them we will try to play more than once. We got about 13 of them to get through. So again, if you think I'm going too quick, I can try to do another one. I only apologize now. We just want to make sure we get through a lot of them. So.
And say hi if you're here so that we can.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
We do got some interesting stuff that we're going to talk about afterwards for next week. So please stay tuned for that as well. So we're going to get right into it. So this first one, you're going to hear myself and Matt. We are in the child's bedroom. Hello, Patricia. We're talking. And then around 7 seconds, again, please, if you have headphones, put them on. If not, come back and listen to it. I can't stress that enough. But you're going to hear what sounds like a voice coming in and says, hey, to us.
Okay.
So again, I hope you guys could hear that. Mike, if you guys are also reading some of the messages, Mike Doyle message, he's another member of our group, brought up a great point, and I actually did think about this today, but I forgot to bring it up now. When Mike and I went and we did the walkthrough, she took us around just like we do any other place. We go around, we look at the size of the location, the number of rooms, how much equipment are we going to need? Is it going to be outside, inside, is it both? A lot of questions we ask, a lot of stuff that we go through, and we just kind of narrow down what's the easiest and best way to do the investigation. While this was happening, Mike and I and the homeowner went into the kitchen. I was leaning against the counter area. Mike was leaning, again, right across from me against the stove, and the homeowner was about to my right, if I remember correctly. This is a few years ago. As we're talking, I saw a black shadow cat, or a cat, run across the floor and run against Mike's legs. Mike actually responded to him. Mike bent over, he rubbed his leg, he felt it, he saw it, only for us to then look and notice that all three cats were accounted for, and what we saw, what he felt, was not a cat. So right away, we after that happened, we were like, okay, this place has got something's going on. So that was kind of a cool story. It's never happened, I don't think, since then to us. So that was very interesting that we both saw that. So I did want to bring that up. This next one, is, again, Matt and myself still. We're getting ready to take a break, and you're going to hear what sounds like a girl's voice. Now, this one's kind of interesting. You're going to hear us whisper. We're talking about what we thought was hearing footsteps behind us. So we are whispering. Ghost Hunting 101, you never whisper. We were. Truth be told, we were hearing footsteps running up behind us. That's why we were whispering. We wanted to see if we could hear it again. In the distance, you're going to hear people talking. That's the investigators outside. You're going to hear me stop talking. You're going to hear me, stop whispering. You're going to hear me talk in my normal voice. You're going to hear me say, that's got to be them on the front porch, because we're hearing the talking. Right after I say that, you're going to hear what sounds like a child say, my mommy's front porch.
I heard behind us. Sounded like somebody was coming out of this room. That's what it sounded like. Going right up behind me. That's gotta be them on the front porch. I swear to God. It sounded like somebody was walking up behind me. Jeez, step up. All right. Well, it's been about
I'm not sure what's going. Oh,
Sandra did say she heard something
Okay.
last time, so we are hearing things.
that was weird. Okay, so I was hearing our intro actually. That's what I was listening to. All right, so again, awesome one. I can see the cat behind you. No? Yeah, that would be Olivia's cat.
That's Leo.
It's very friendly.
So I hope you guys heard that one. You heard the My Mommy's Front Porch. That ranks up to one of our top 5 or top 10. We always play that at a lot of our events for people when they want to hear something that is one of our favorites. So that was always a cool one. The next one is, this one is definitely going to be a headphone one. This one's very hard to hear. I'm not going to lie to you, but it leads into another one. That's why we wanted to play it.
Hi, Nakia. If
That's
I
my mom.
murdered
That's
that.
Olivia's mom.
Olivia's mom.
Hi, Nikia.
Yeah, my dad's in here
Is it?
too.
It's Nakia. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Mom. Except for you're probably my age.
So this next one is Rob and myself. We're going to be outside. We're going to be out behind the home. The homeowner reported stuff in the woods, all kinds of voices and knocks and weird stuff going on out there. So we did go out there a lot throughout the night. As Rob and I are out there, you're going to hear us talking. It's going to be very quiet. And then around 8 seconds or so, you're going to hear what sounds like a scream. It's very, very low. So you got to, again, if you don't have your headphones on, we want to keep it in there.
car coming. We're driving by.
So I know it was very hard. This next one, it leads right into it. We are getting ready to leave the location. We're all hanging out by the front door. We hear a big bang in the background in the child's bedroom. We fly down the hall. We get in there. We're looking around. I turn my flashlight on, and I see the world's cutest kitten hanging on the screen from the outside. So this little kitten jumped up, lashed onto the screen, banged the screen against the window, and made this loud noise. That's kind of where this EVP starts. You're going to hear me in there. You're going to hear me say, it's the cat. Right after I say that, you're going to hear probably the biggest, loudest scream that we've ever caught on recording, that it's so loud that it actually echoes. But we didn't hear it. We just keep talking. So I really hope you guys like this one.
It's the cat on the screen. Oh, man. Get down! I wonder if that's what we heard earlier. Remember when I thought I heard the screen?
That's not what I heard, though.
Oh, Jesus.
So, again, I hope you guys could hear that. It's very blatantly obvious. There's no growl in there. It's right after I start laughing. You hear the scream, the yell, whatever you want to call it. If you actually listen, like I said, it actually echoes, which was really cool. One of our top favorites. This next one is kind of an interesting one. There's going to be 4 investigators talking. Mike, you're going to hear Mike. He's going to sneeze. Kelly says, God bless you. A voice is going to come in kind of under that, and it's going to say, thank you. Now, this was nobody else there. This was not one of our people.
Okay, maybe I won't fix it.
See, there's no way that you could have hit the guitar string on that guitar.
See, like, I never noticed that guitar earlier. I saw that right there because it says Fender on it. And then when we came in, see, no, why isn't it sliding the other way? Yeah, man.
So again, I right there. You hear the sneeze, you hear bless you, and then you hear thank you. But there was nobody there. So another interesting one. This next one, again, when I first heard this one, I remembered it, and I listened to it tonight, and I still had a hard time believing it. You're going to hear Rob and I, we're going to be moving around in this, and then you're going to hear a voice that's going to come in. Now, there's only Rob and I, and a voice is going to come in, and they're literally going to say, Rob doesn't say. So it's addressing him by name.
No, I just want, oh, I don't know if I just reset it. I just went off. There's Wi-Fi down here to let it reset. Is there anybody here with us?
Yeah, that wasn't one of us. Rob doesn't say. Not really sure what they meant by that. Again, we didn't hear that at the time. So moving along, this one's a little harder here again. This is 3 voices in one shot. So around 14 seconds, you're going to hear one. About 2 seconds after that, you're going to hear another. And about 4 seconds after that, you're going to hear another. The first 2 are kind of hard to hear. The last one, it actually sounds like it's saying, did you hear that?
Yeah, we can start in the back bedroom, I guess, and work our way up. Awesome. Freaking John Cena, I just scared the shit out of me. Can't see him. Oh, this is the room. There was a toy box here. It was a different bedroom. It was different. And we all came in here because we can't do it on screens here. Oh,
So again, I know they're kind of hard to hear, but headphones are our friends sometimes. This next one is, again, Rob and I. We're in the back room again. And Rob's just going to ask a question. He's going to say, you know, are you here? And then you're going to hear a voice come back and say, yeah.
are you here? Are you in this room? Are you a man? Can you make the lights lit up?
That was very quick. I mean, it's almost immediately. Are you here? Yeah. So it's very, very quick. Again, next one. And this one's a little, I'm not really sure the setup, but around 15 seconds, you're going to hear a voice that's coming in. It sounds like it's saying, really.
Just be advised, you can still hear Mike and Sandy out in the background.
Should probably just go to the
Far bedroom.
Just go to the living room, far bedroom, yeah. Because I don't think we're able to do too much in here with them off back.
You know, I really like this one, only because it kind of emphasizes what we do as far as if we hear an outside noise. Like some people always ask us, how do you know it wasn't this, or how do you know it wasn't that? And this one we just played you guys is a great example of when we hear something outside, we will notate it, whether it's in writing on a notepad that we happen to have at Command Center, or if it's in a recording. So you hear Rob clearly say, be advised, you can hear Mike and Sandy outside. We say that so later on when we're listening to the same recordings, or if I'm listening to it, or if Mike's listening to Rob's recorder, and we hear that, Rob's notated it. Okay, no, that's not a voice. That's not a guy in the other bedroom. No, that's Mike outside talking. So that was really cool that he did that.
So like tagging.
Yeah, basically, yeah, we're tagging what we hear. So if we don't do that, like earlier when we played the one with the scream, we didn't hear it. But that was actually really cool because you do hear the really, like right after we say, hey, let's go to the other room. It's almost like the spirit was like, really? Like you guys are going to leave? Really? You're going to go over there?
Leave me.
So that was kind of cool. Excuse me. This next one, it's very low, but this is another one that leads into another one. So you're going to hear, and I'll be honest with you, it's a knock. You're going to hear a low knock. But it's because it goes to another one. So that's why we're going to play it. So we'll go ahead and start. We'll go with that one first, and then we'll play the next one.
Can you make a noise? I'm gonna make a noise. Can you finish it for me?
Was that outside? Or was that was two thuds.
Yeah.
So again, what we did was we played them both one right after another. So that's why it kind of felt like it was quick. There was no gap in between. So we heard the we hear the thud in the first one, not knowing it. Later on, or a couple minutes later, Rob does shaving a haircut, and you hear the response. So it was kind of cool that they kind of go together.
Will you freaking stay on camera?
I like to move around. Well, normally I'm not having half my body off the camera. Sorry, I'm not used to this.
I'm like in the middle. These poor people have to stare at me.
So the next one is, again, it's one of those ones that's kind of hard to hear. Rob and I are in the living room talking. It's as I get up to go look outside because we're thinking we're hearing something. So I get up to go check, and I literally say I'm gonna check or something along those lines. And when I get up off the couch, you're gonna hear me get up. It's right after I get up. You're gonna hear what sounds like a voice coming through. It sounds like it's saying Claire. But we'll play it and get your guys' thoughts.
Oh, a picture. She's taking flashes outside.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me your name?
Let me make sure. That's gotta be.
Yeah, that was a little bit.
Have you guys taken pictures out back?
So again, it's very, very quick. It's got to be them outside. You hear me get up, and you hear Claire. The last one we got for you guys is it's kind of, again, it's another little low one. We're all inside, and then around around 11 seconds or so, you almost hear a voice come in. It sounds like he's saying, "I don't want."
Oh, right towards the door. You got your... Oh! I don't think that was me. You got your flashlight seen?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can show him real quick. It came just like there.
So what you're actually hearing is Mike, when this one starts, Mike says, "Shoot it straight down the hall." And he's referring to a handheld camera. So to me, when I hear Mike say that, and then you hear a voice that says, "I don't want," it's almost like, I don't want you to see me. Maybe that's how I interpret it. But again, I guess you have to be there. Again, the big thing is it wasn't a voice of any of us, and it wasn't anybody that we can explain. It was called afterwards. So, what do you think?
What do I think? Well, I listened to them all beforehand. So, I mean, honestly, cheater. What?
I'm just kidding.
I can't hear it. He had the headphones. Stinker. Will you? All right. So no, my thoughts are pretty much, some of them I heard, some of them took a little bit. At the end of the day, I think because I know you guys, and I trust that the evidence you collect is legit, because I've had, we go back and forth all the time when it comes to reviewing evidence. It's not like I said this and we all listen to it. So, yeah, the one, the My Mommy's Porch is always one of my favorite ones. It's very clear, and when we're talking about having to put on headphones and listen to some of these things, that's because a lot of EVPs in and of themselves are just that quiet. There's you really kind of got to listen and be aware of your surroundings. So
I know we don't really have the problem that much anymore, maybe because today's technology is better.
Right.
When we first started back in 2007, we would literally have to take our handheld recorders, go to another mic, hit record, or hit play and hit record, and that's how we transferred stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we got really good stuff, it was very low, but when you would try to transfer it, you'd lose it.
Right.
So we don't run into that too much now, but again, we kind of do the whole, when in doubt, throw it out.
Yep. If there's any question that it could be something else at that point.
And at the end of the day, if I think I have something, and I give it to you two, and you both listen to it, and you both tell me No, it's Mike talking, or it's Rob walking, whatever the case may be. Fine, let's throw it away. Even though I think it's something, or I truly believe it,
Right.
I'm going to give it to 2 other people, get their thoughts, and at the end of the day, if they're willing to look at it objectively and say, no, this is what we think it is, and they're not willing to say, yep, you're right, 100%, this is what it is. So I got to respect that. And if they're not going to believe it, then none of you are going to believe it. None of the clients are going to believe it. So at the end of the day, we've probably thrown out real legit stuff, but it's just because if we're not 100% sure, then we're not going to put it out there. So it kind of comes with it, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, too, when I totally lost my train of thought. It's gone. ADHD.
You could stare blankly at the camera.
I've been staring at the camera the whole time. These poor people are staring at me.
So I know. Does anybody have any other questions?
We got 9
out
people.
there. We've had a few people watching. Before I forget, we did start posting new stuff to our YouTube page. A lot of the same videos that we're doing live now, we are posting. We're slowly putting some evidence on there. We're not going to do a whole lot just because we want to use that for this. And it's just why I put it out there on YouTube and then turn right around and do the show and that kind of, what equipment do we use? So we can touch on it a little bit, Sandra. We do plan on doing like a whole episode dedicated to a lot of the equipment that we use.
That'll be next.
So
I mean, part of that
for
just EVPs.
Yeah, for EVPs, I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with a regular digital recorder.
No, Sony. Just
Ideally,
Amazon.
you know what? Ideally, if I had the money, and I say that because they're expensive over time, is I would buy an old school tape one that takes those little tapes and use those. One-time use, because once you rewind it and fast forward and all that stuff, you can't really use them again. The problem is they get expensive because they don't really make them that much anymore. So those were great because of the white noise, and there wasn't the filters. Some of these newer recorders do have a lot of filters on them, so we kind of turn those off on some of them just because you don't want to filter out what you could be catching. So when I say basic, yes, your basic regular digital recorder works great. If you want to spend the money and get one like the Zoom that I have, those are nice too. They are a little bit better quality. They tend to pick up more. They can kind of branch out and go out farther than a regular little recorder. So those are kind of nice.
The ones I like are with the 3, even if they're the cheaper ones, if they have the 360.
That's the Zoom has.
And the noise reduction. But I mean, that's probably the number one tool we use. Period. We use them when we do walkthroughs. We use them when we're setting up because when we're taking down, they're always recording. What is the most active location that we have ever investigated?
It's a toss-up because it's okay. Are you talking about private residence? Or are you talking about public residence or like public business?
Let's go with public.
Oh God.
I'd probably say players.
It's hard. It's hard because I look at it like I take the question and I guess I look too deep because I'm thinking, okay, there's places that we get a ton of in-your-face direct responses out loud. But on the flip side, there's other places that we do that we get a ton of EVPs that we don't hear with our own ears. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's more than there's more than one, I guess, description for the most active, if that makes sense. But yes, the Oswego Players Theater, arguably one of the best places we've ever been to.
Well, and the consistency on the getting the evidence
is
fairly consistent.
Every time we go there, we get something.
Right.
That is one of only maybe a handful of places I've ever been to where I had a direct voice in my ear to the point that I can actually feel the breath on my face. The one thing Mike pointed out with the Zoom is, the nice thing about the Zoom that you can't do with some of the other recorders is you can literally plug in your headphones and do a live listen as you're recording. So if you think you hear something, you can do that live. So that's kind of a cool thing to do. And again, you don't have to spend that kind of money to buy those. I got mine used on eBay. So yes, Oswego Players Theater. We've had stuff moved, chairs moved when we were downstairs. We heard the chairs scraping across the floor. Can
I see the Oswego Players Theater on a video?
I think on our YouTube page we do have one video on there of a light anomaly that we caught coming down the stairs. We are going to be doing a live show reviewing a ton of the stuff from the Oswego Players Theater in the future. We're working on trying to be able to bring people in live. Honestly, Facebook's kind of a pain to do that. We just basically have to find new formats and new ways to do it.
I know. YouTube, you can.
Yeah, you can do it through our phones, but you can't go through your phone with somebody and also play the evidence. So we're kind of working on that. We're going to find a way to do it.
You know, before we get way too off track, back to favorite places with the activity. The place that I like the most, I think, is, where was it? Not Clyde, I don't think, but the jail.
That was the Clyde. It wasn't Clyde. It was
Wayne.
Lions.
The old Wayne County
Wayne
Jail.
County.
Yeah.
Yep, that was a fun place. You can go there now. The director's a really nice lady. We went there. We did actually an event there a couple years ago around Halloween time, helped them raise some money, and again had some really cool stuff happen between hearing footsteps run across the floor, just all around a cool location. And again, I always like to tell people doing stuff like this is fun because we get to do stuff that normal people can't do. You know, we get to go places, we get to go behind the scenes, if you will. And you just generally can't do that. So it is a lot of fun to do that. They actually opened up the old women's section of the jail for us the last time we were there, which is normally not open for the public because it's basically used for like storage and stuff. But they were able to open it for us. So it was really cool to do that.
Yeah, and if you've never been there, they have some pretty cool, like some of the drawings on the cells that the people actually did there. It's pretty cool, even just to visit. Place. We still have 8 viewers.
But Sandra, back to the Oswego Players Theater. If I can't, hopefully, well, the weather's, hit and miss right now. And right now, I think in Auburn, it's almost raining, so it's not terrible. But at the end of the day, if I can't get our guests from the Oswego Players Theater on the show live, I plan on going there and doing a live episode right there on the stage with them. So that's something that we're going to work on, hopefully, in the next few weeks. That might have to wait till spring. It could be nice here, but then it's going to snow really bad there. And if you've ever been up to Oswego in the wintertime, like I said, it's beautiful for 5 minutes, and then there's 5 feet of snow.
Oh, poor Buffalo over there.
Yeah. We don't go
Not to mention the Bills. Let's not get there.
Is there any other questions? We got a few minutes. We actually were able to burn through this fairly quick.
Yeah. You live in Syracuse, Sandra? I live in Canastota.
Mike's near you. Mike lives a lot closer to you than I do.
Yep.
I don't even live in Auburn anymore. I actually live in Seneca Falls. So
South of Jesus?
Yeah, we have only one member of the group still lives in Auburn. And we all started in Auburn. Originally, Mike and myself and the original team did. And then as the years went on, like I said, we've been doing this since 2007. So life changes. You have families, buy houses. You actually have to look at school districts for your kids.
Yeah, I know.
All that fun stuff of adulting. And
it's overrated.
Yeah, a lot of us had to move.
She doesn't know what that's like.
Yeah, she's working on it. She's getting there.
I don't. She probably, I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, I'm old enough to be her mother, okay?
There's a lot of places in Syracuse that we would love to do. I think we've done a couple private homes in Syracuse. Unfortunately, there's a lot of places that just don't let us in simply because they have, we'll say unofficial agreements with other teams. And I get it. Believe me, we're friends with a lot of those teams. There's places that we do, like, for example, the Braylock, and we're the only team that Braylock will do that event with. There's the library in Morrisville Library. We unfortunately had to postpone for a couple weeks because of the weather. But, I talked with Michelle when we were there, and we're the only group that she's going to allow to come in for a while, or probably forever, just because it's easier to work with one team than take the chance of bringing something in by having a different team come in, who, let's be honest, they're just assholes, and ruin it for all the other teams. So I get it.
So Sandra's still going to try for the house in Ilion?
I still remember that. I still have the note you gave me with all your info, so we appreciate that.
Tell Jim where we've been to that are far. Oh, the question of, are you asking about the places that we like that are far away?
Well, we've been to Rolling Hills.
Rolling Hills Asylum.
The farthest place we ever went to was Dunkirk Lighthouse. That was about a 3-hour drive one way. And then we did the investigation and we drove back. Props to Mike Doyle for being the trooper and driving that. He hung in there that night. And then the only other farthest other than that was probably when we did Fort William Henry. We've been there twice. The first time we went, I thought I was cool and thought we can drive home. It was a fun drive. I actually rode with somebody there. I didn't drive there. We rode in their car because it was bigger. We could put more equipment in it. And it started to rain. We were getting ready to leave, and I think we were doing like 30 and a 55. And she's like, "Yeah, I can't drive that good in the dark and rain." I said, "Well, pull over." And I ended up jumping in, and I drove because I wasn't. No. By the time we got to Mike's house in Syracuse and dropped off some investigators there, and Mike, they left their cars there. The sun was already coming up.
I've had that where we're investigating till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3-hour drive, 5 a.m.
The next time we went there, we got a hotel room for the night because I wasn't driving home.
Yeah, we did. So, I've done a place in Tucker Lake, and we had to do that in Tucker Lake. I had an experience at the Braylock last October when I met you guys. I felt nauseated. Had to go to the ladies' room for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah, Braylock is a really, really cool historic location. And they're really great people. Actually, I always joke around because I spent my honeymoon there, and now I'm ghost hunting. Apparently, one of the haunted rooms is where my husband and I stayed. I couldn't tell you. Any other questions or emotional outbursts? You can save those for Sean.
That's fine.
I'm sorry you've had to stare at me all.
Next week, we decided that we're going to take a little bit of a break from doing the normal evidence thing. Not that we don't have the evidence to show. We just decided we're going to mix it up a little bit. So next week, we're going to do a live show again, but it's going to be more geared towards, I guess you could say, the Paranormal 101. So we're going to talk about, everything from the do's and the don'ts to some of our equipment to
some of the terminology.
A lot of the terms that we use and stuff like that, and kind of just to make it a little easier. So when we do talk like this and we do say stuff like EVPs or SLS camera or any other things that we talk about, everybody kind of knows what we're talking about.
And one of the good things is pretty cool. Yeah, it will be interesting. Is also kind of where does this whole industry come from? Like, what started? Where did this paranormal field start? And what are some of the history behind what it is we do and why we do it?
Not to be giving away too much.
Yeah, right. Don't give
I would. Maybe I'm wrong, but me personally, I would think that the modern ghost hunting would have to give credit to Ed and Lorraine Warren.
And yeah, that's actually there. That's actually, I would consider them the mother. Yeah, the mother and father of our current paranormal, what we do now.
There's been spiritualism and all that stuff throughout the years, and the whole table tipping and all that stuff. I think they were the ones that. Yeah. I guess I don't mean this in a bad way. Yeah. They brought it to the mainstream, and they were for a while they were almost villainized. Is that a word?
The spiritualists?
No, Ed and Lorraine for a long time they were almost. I don't want to say. I can't even think. Basically, people thought they were crazy. People thought they were nuts. People thought they shouldn't be doing it. You're also talking about. Was that the 60s, the 70s, somewhere in there?
80s,
yeah. Yes, the old couple. No, they don't do seances. No. We'll get more into it later on. I do suggest that if you do want to learn about them, is please look them up.
Yeah.
Buy their books. I think I have all their books.
There's also a documentary on, I want to say, Max Discovery.
I think I watched it.
Yeah, there's a documentary about them, but it's pretty cool when you go back and look at the kind of the history in general.
Don't watch the movies that,
No.
you know.
Although the movies are good.
The movies are good
They're not
when they say
super
that they're
accurate.
about them and that they're in it or they're
Loosely
actor portrayed, but it's not like that. I mean,
That's why I can't watch paranormal movies because they're so stupid. Like,
did
that's
they
not what happens.
did they investigate some really serious stuff? Yes. Was it like it is in Hollywood? No, I wouldn't say so.
You mean I'm not going to be dragged by my ankles out the door?
You might, but I'm not saying it's no.
Or up the stairs?
No, I mean they did. The movies shed light, especially the ones going back like to the beginning of when they started. They did a really good job at portraying how they brought light to certain families that were being made out to be crazy for believing and talking about certain activity. They definitely brought a positive light around showing, hey, that is there.
Yeah, so Jim asked if we've ever investigated a property and had to leave because we felt too uncomfortable.
I mean, I've walked out of rooms before, but I've never left a location.
Yeah. We'll leave areas if we think that. I don't want to say pushing because maybe that's the wrong term, and I don't want you to think that we're doing anything to stir up stuff. But when I say pushing, I mean asking too many questions, or could it be that simply having a girl in that area, could that be pushing the spirit to the point where maybe they're going to act out? And believe me, when I say act out, I mean scratching, I mean hair pulling, I mean, does that bother me? No, because that's evidence and that's an experience that we want to have.
Mm.
Pretty much everybody in our group, again, there's only 4 of us. I think they'd be more than willing to let that happen, just because you want that experience. If you don't think that that's going to happen, then you're in the wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be here.
Well, it's not so much, and it's not scary. People ask me that all the time. Is this scary? What you're doing? I'm like, no, because I'm asking for it. Like I'm expecting a response if I'm.
Yeah, I've definitely been a little scared before. Scared.
But I'll just kind of take one of the groups of a previous group I was in. We did Fort Stanwix in Rome. And, I'll ask a question. Do you want me to leave? I'm a woman. I'm in your barracks. If you're uncomfortable, I'll leave. Because, women aren't in men's barracks in the Revolutionary War. At least any good women.
No.
And then there was another, I would never own a Ouija board. Yeah, good idea. Don't ever own a Ouija board.
I often tell people, too, it's easy to be, I'm talking to Jim, it's easy to, I don't want to say scared, but it's easy to be scared of what you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody who, you move into an old house, you hear all these noises, you hear bangs, and, let's be honest, your first thought, for example, is going to be, that's haunted. But you got to know what to look for. And you also got to be willing to accept the fact that if it is haunted, okay, it's haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, what it is, I don't want to say it is what it is, but it's your home. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this for so many years now that, almost, I want to say every single person that we've come across as far as client goes, it was okay with what was there.
They just want to validate.
Yeah, they want to know what's here. They want you to validate that they're not crazy. They are experiencing this. Mm-hmm. We've gone to places where it wasn't paranormal at all. I often tell the story. We did an investigation of a house in Fulton, I believe it was, and the mother kept telling me the son sees shadow people, can't sleep, is irritated, you name it. And my first thought was, okay, there's got to be something in the bedroom that's causing this. I didn't automatically jump to, yes, this is a former schoolhouse. Yes, people died here. Yes, it had a hidden doorway, which is really weird that it actually did have a hidden doorway in the one room. And then when you opened it, it was like a closet thingy that you can walk into. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Yes, it was weird that it was sealed off when they moved in. But I didn't go that route. And I didn't think, oh my God, there's something bad here. I simply went over with a couple of our tools and I found out that right where his head was just pumping with high EMFs. And that can cause that. That can cause rashes, paranoia, shadow people, seeing things, all kind, uneasiness, whatever. I've gone into certain areas before on certain investigations where I've walked in and the EMS been so high that my stomach hurts.
Mhm.
But once I left that area, I was fine. Other than that, we got absolutely no evidence that investigation for this lady, and I felt bad, but she was convinced that it was haunted. We don't, and that's another reason why we don't charge for what we do. We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear. We're going to tell you what is real. So we told her we don't think it's haunted. We can come back. We can do another investigation. But do me a favor. Just move his bed. Move his bed to the other side of the room where there is no high EMFs. And if there's still activity after that, you call me and we will come out. And she never called me again. I want to believe that that's what the problem was. So you got to kind of go into the mindset that, it's not haunted. I mean, we go into every investigation saying it's not haunted, regardless of where we go. We go to the Braylock at least 3, 4, 5 times a year to get evidence for our events in October. And every time we go in with the perception that it's not haunted. We still try to disprove. We still try to figure out logical reasons for everything that we capture.
And when you're left with something you can't explain, then you're left with that paranormal or the not logical. And it's always, I had posted a meme on our page around Halloween time. It says if you go into a haunted location expecting to find a haunting, anything is going to be a haunting.
Mm-hmm.
That knock, that noise, that cat, that, if you're going out trying to find an explanation for what is people think are paranormal, then you're left with what is. I know one home that I had been at, they'd be downstairs and they'd hear what they thought were children running upstairs. At the same time, we had a team downstairs, a team upstairs. The heat had kicked on, and it was the hot water heat, and the air bubbles would go, bub, 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 bub. So downstairs it sounds like someone's running across, but in actuality it's the heat kicking on and the air bubbles through the system. So.
And not to beat a dead horse, but this goes right back to what
I like horses.
we were talking about, a couple weeks ago, the whole Auburn Castle thing. Those guys that did this show there, you don't have to be too fancy with the computer to go to their Instagram, go to their YouTube channel, go look them up. All they do are negative locations. I could not find one investigation they did on any of their social networking platforms where it was just a regular house or just a regular investigation. Every single one was negative, demon, you name it. So if that's all you do, if that's all that you're geared towards trying to find,
that's all you're going to find.
Yeah, that's all you're going to find. Regardless of anything you come across, you're going to push it towards that.
It's like looking up on the internet. You can always find something to support your thesis or whatever, regardless if that's what you're looking for.
We've since day one, we've always been go in, disprove the haunting. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're not left with anything. We don't go in there to prove it's a demon. We don't go in there to prove that it's somebody's grandmother, somebody's mother. We just go in there to prove that it's nothing.
I mean, if it wants to pop up and go, hi.
That's great.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. But again, I'm still not real happy with that video. So.
I digress. Are there any other questions?
So next week, basically Paranormal 101. We'll have a bunch of stuff. Amy's pretty much going to take the lead on that. I'll be here, but...
Well, I'm the looks. You're the talent.
Yeah, I'm just going to let her do her thing. Somebody, Jim wrote, check out the...
Poolville County Store in Earlville. And maybe a good app?
It can be, depending on who owns it. Generally, if it's a private, we can kind of reach out if it's a store still and say, hey, we heard this. Mm-hmm. Generally, when it's a place like that, they kind of reach out to us, but we don't mind. Sometimes we'll throw the line out there and see if we can get somebody to hook on it. But
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places that I would love to investigate. Seward House.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know it's not going to happen, but I'd love to.
I tried.
Yeah, what is it, Harriet Tubman House. There's a lot of historic locations that would be so much fun. Hey, I love history. Mm-hmm. I like ghosts, so.
But, yeah, so next week, don't forget to, the 4. Next weekend, we're doing our live. We're going to be on that other podcast for our friends down in Texas. We're going to be on them, so make sure you guys watch that. Oh, okay, it's a restaurant and B&B. Sweet. All right, yeah. Then, yeah, we can reach out to them. Appreciate it. But, yeah, I'll post a link for that. We're going to be talking about our group with a friend of ours from a Texas paranormal team who's invited us onto their podcast. So we will be on that. So you guys are welcome to tune in and check that out. It'll be linked. And then other than that, we'll just see you guys next week, I guess. If you have any other questions or whatever, shoot us a private message and we'll try to address them. Oh, Mike already looked it up. Poolville, 5 hours
away.
Hotels.
In Earlville?
No, Poolville.
Yeah, but it's a Poolville
yeah.
County store in Earlville. Earlville's out by New Berlin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sherburne. It's out my way.
Anyway, we'll look into it. Thanks, Jim. We'll see you guys next week.
It's like 2 hours away, Mike. Not 5.
All right. So, thanks, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, reach out. We'll try to address them when we can. If not, we'll do our...
Near Hamilton, see?
Yeah, we'll do our show next week. So, now that they're done arguing. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.